All right, let's get right into it. We're going to explore a pretty wild theory today, one that imagines a massive global shift in wealth. We're talking about the potential creation of an entirely new class of billionaires, from a place you might expect.
So let's start with the big question right up front. What if the next wave of billionaires, I mean the majority of them, didn't come from Wall Street or Silicon Valley or manufacturing, but from crypto? It sounds kind of out there, I know, but there's a fascinating thought experiment behind it. Let's dig in.
And hey, this isn't just some random idea we pulled out of thin air. We're diving into a theory that was really popularized by Balaji Srinivasan, who you might know as the former CEO of Coinbase. He used actual on-chain data to sketch out what this future could look like, and that's what we're going to break down right now.
So where in the world does the theory this big even start? Well, it all boils down to one single verifiable number, a number pulled straight from the Bitcoin blockchain itself. Here it is, 2,393. This number, this is the key to the entire idea. Remember it.
So what does it mean? Simple. It's the number of Bitcoin wallets out there that are confirmed to hold more than 1,000 Bitcoin each. Now for this to work, we're going to make a little assumption. One wallet equals one person. In reality, sure, one person might have a few wallets, but just go with it for a second, because this is where things get really interesting.
Okay, so you have these wallets. How do they turn into billionaires? Well, the next part is all about some simple but incredibly powerful math.
The logic here is super straightforward. First, you start with one of those wallets holding over 1,000 Bitcoin. Then, step 2, you just have to imagine a future where the price of a single Bitcoin hits $1 million. Yeah, it's speculative, but it's a target people talk about all the time. And if that happens, well, the result in step 3 is just basic math. That wallet is now worth over $1 billion.
And boom, this is where you see the explosive potential. If, and it's an if, but if Bitcoin hits that price, you don't just get a few new billionaires. You get 2,393 of them, all at once, almost overnight. And that's just from Bitcoin.
But we all know the crypto universe is way, way bigger than just Bitcoin, right? So what happens when we take the same idea and apply it to the rest of the market?
You got to remember, Bitcoin is the king, for sure, but it's not the whole kingdom. Right now, it makes up about 60% of the crypto market. That leaves a massive 40% in all the other assets, Ethereum and thousands of others, all creating their own pockets of wealth.
So when you kind of zoom out and you account for all the money held in those other coins, the theory estimates that the total number of potential crypto billionaires isn't 2,000, it's more like 4,000, or even more. And to put that number into perspective, just look at this. Right now, there are about 2,000 billionaires on the entire planet, from every industry combined. This theory suggests that crypto alone could create a new class of billionaires that is double the size of the one we have now. That's a huge shift.
And here's what that looks like. In this hypothetical future, you'd have around 6,000 billionaires total. But the crazy part is that 2/3 of them, a whopping 66%, would be crypto billionaires. They wouldn't just be part of the club anymore, they would be the club. They'd be the new majority.
But honestly, the numbers, as mind-bending as they aren't even the most important part of this whole thought experiment. No, the real kicker is where this wealth would actually exist.
And this, right here, is the central point. It's not just about a new group of rich people. The idea is that this new billionaire majority, they wouldn't really be American billionaires or Chinese billionaires or Russian billionaires. Their wealth, and maybe even their primary identity, would be tied to this global digital crypto network.
Let's just break that down. Traditional wealth, it's tied up in national economies, in stocks, in real estate, in systems that governments control. But crypto wealth, it lives on a global, decentralized network that no single country owns. So this isn't just about who has the money. It's about a massive transfer of wealth to a system that exists outside the direct control of any nation-state.
And all of this, every single part of this theory, it really just leads us to one final, huge question that we're all forced to ask.
So, what do you think? It's a speculative idea for sure, a big what if, but it really makes you wonder about a future where a huge chunk of the world's wealth isn't tied to a country but to a network. What does that world even look like? And that's the thought we're going to leave you with.